and welcome for another episode of First Diamond BNI Chapter Podcast. Today we have our second 2.0 version for Shrimp with Camera, aka Harriet Marshall. And this time we're going to have a little refreshments because we're leaving Prague and if we wouldn't drink beer in some of our episodes, it would just be wrong. So welcome back, Harriet.
Thank you.
She did not want to come back. She was forced to come back. So I'm happy about it. Great. Now, we had one episode. I'm sure you all saw it. If you didn't, go back and watch that first. But just to bring everyone, all those people who are like, oh, I don't want to go back and watch the other episode. I want to see this one. I know there's those people. Harriet, in a nutshell, what do you do? What is your business?
So I am a photographer and my business is photographing. So in a nutshell, that's that.
That is a very tiny nutshell and we love it. Great. Now, exactly who is your client?
My client, honestly, at this point, is anybody with a brain. I've shot a lot of different things. So what I do, as I mentioned in the last podcast, is very varied. But my favorite person would be somebody who just says, "Take the reins. We love your style," and it's an event or something with a lot of people where I'm just wombling around and taking photos of people without them noticing.
Being a creeper. Being a little fly on the wall creep. Love that. Love that. Now, why should people hire photographers? Isn't it enough that we take our pictures with our iPhones and that aunt is in the corner taking the pictures? I've seen this way too often. Why should people hire professional photography?
I mean, of course, it's not right for everyone, but I think there are many different reasons. If you want to preserve your memories, if you want to market those memories, you cannot take care of everything yourself. If you want to enjoy your event, there's just no way that you're going to be able to capture the moment that well. And that's if you have the ability to take nice photos. So it really depends. You can also market your event or your people in the right way, if that makes sense. An iPhone photo cannot do the same justice as a professional with professional equipment who's been in the industry for years and who has that kind of eye for how things are supposed to be.
Absolutely. I'm going to add there that when you hire a professional, you can actually enjoy the event. No, because it's something that I notice that when I do speaking gigs, I always tell my husband or used to tell my husband, hey, take some pictures. I want to get some, from the corner. First of all, the picture shit. But second of all, and sorry, honey, you're not that good. But when it comes to hiring a professional, you get these amazing pictures and you're like, holy shit, like that actually happened. And now it's like captured in a right way without using any energy towards it. And now my husband actually can, enjoy and watch the show. So it's a really nice touch in that way.
Mm.
Now, Harriet, you did share us a little bit more in the other episode already, but to go a little more details, why photography? Where did it started? Where did the passion start? How did it build?
How deep am I supposed to go in these?
As deep as you want. We're just gonna goodbye.
So perhaps I shared a little bit too much information in the last one then.
You can share the same. I'm sure there's people who didn't watch the last episode, but let's build it up fire.
All right. So yeah, I first started taking photos with my dad's camera actually because he was a photographer. Sorry for the spoiler for those who haven't watched the first episode. But yeah, so he took his camera everywhere and I always enjoyed to kind of sneak it away, which he allowed me to do, which is really nice. Not a lot of dads that allow you to take an expensive piece of equipment. And yeah, I would just kind of practice taking photos of people or things and it just became something that I really enjoyed to do. And then I'm not even sure how it started becoming something a bit more serious. I think I would take it in school and people knew that I'd take photos. So they'd be like, oh, can we take some photos at school or can you take photos at this? So that's something that I started doing as well. And then it got a bit more professional when people started paying me. It was never serious things, but if it was like birthday parties, you'd get a little bit here or a little bit there, which was nice. I never considered it as a career. But then I went to photograph a singer called Nicholas Yosef, one of his concerts. And my dad knew him, and I knew him actually. We went to the same high school, but we were not the same age, so we didn't really overlap in the same circles. And I sent him the photos that I took, and he likes them so much that he just said, "Can you start working for me like next week?" And I thought it was a joke. And I was like, thanks. But yeah, it kind of started like that, and then I went with him as my first like only client boss kind of relationship, and then I thought that perhaps I should take it a bit more seriously. Kind of coincided when you invited me to BNI, which was quite handy, and yeah, then I started taking more clients and started thinking that it's something that I could do as a career.
Very nice, very nice. Now, when we're talking about photography, we, as you all saw from our first episode where we have Jan Rajos, our YouTube guy, we want to tap into every BNI member's brain to get those wisdom nuggets. So now let's talk about photography. Let's talk about photography and what are some mistakes that people do. So give us 3 mistakes that people make in pictures or in social media or when they share stuff or whichever direction you want to take it in, really.
So would it be mistakes that I have like made throughout my career, or
No, mistakes that someone who's listening right now might be like, oh fuck, I do that.
um it's so broad, like professionals or people starting out or just your average person with a phone?
As we wish.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's hard for me. Jan went with business professionals who wants to get into YouTube.
Okay.
So whichever direction you want to take this in, really.
So maybe my number one, if you have a camera, DSLR, whatever, mirrorless, and you're looking to maybe start taking photos as a career or as a part-time or for fun, I would really recommend shooting in RAW format. When I first started, I shot in JPEG, and I was like, this is perfect. It takes up less space on your cards and things like that, but you cannot edit the photo to the same degree, so it doesn't have as much information. And I was like, I don't need that. And then I started shooting RAW, and I was like, I needed that. So that would be one mistake that well, it's not something that you see, but that's one mistake that I would try to avoid. Second would be taking somebody else's work and just slapping a filter on it and posting it. Don't do that. Do not do that. The third one, this is quite hard. This is quite a hard question.
These are 2 really good tips already, so. There's the second one.
Yeah, okay. So this could be for your average person just taking a photo. Don't have to be professional, can be with the phone. Don't take it like this. Like down. Try and take it from the same eye level that the person is at. Because when you take a photo from that's a little bit at an angle, the person is going to look like their head is quite big, and it just doesn't look that natural, that appealing. Maybe I'm not, try it out. I'm not just talking from my bum. Maybe we can cut that. But yeah, try to take it a bit more like this. Don't be afraid of a little zoom. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Great, great. Good tips indeed. I won't be taking any of them because I have hired Harriet to do everything for me, so I don't need to bog on that. But I don't put filters anymore on her pictures. I used to do that and she nearly killed me. So so we're over that part. Don't do that, guys. Or really do that. They get very sensitive about it. I did. I will never forget her yelling at me. Well, why is this picture? Take it stop, but why is there a filter? I get it now. It's your work. It's your, everything you put your heart and soul into. Okay, Harriet. Now let's give some tools and strategies of, let's say someone is out there who's like, oh, she's a photographer and she does a fucking amazing job. Because if you go check anything that Harriet does, it's always top notch. What is the one tool or strategy you can give them if they're like, I want to do what she does?
Girl, this pistons I should have prepared. So I would say that you don't have to go out and buy brand new equipment right away. So I think the first time I probably took a trip and just took a lot of photos, I went to Florida and I bought an old Canon Rebel. I think it cost, I don't know, around £200 or something like that at the time. Wow, I was like, I'm so fancy. But you can kind of train with equipment that's not that expensive. Obviously, if you want to shoot upscale events or more professional environments, then that's not going to cut it. But if you're just starting out and you want to hone your eye and like that, that will be hopefully that's not a camera. Yeah, you don't have to go and buy everything brand new. Do your research and then try it out first before you invest in this expensive equipment.
Very nice, very nice. Good tip for anyone. It's always, at least I myself, I'm an ADHDer, so every time when I start a new hobby, I need to get all the most expensive tools and toys and everything possible so that I can get started. But yeah, that's a great tip indeed. Now let's talk about a little bit more of what is the mistakes that people can make there. So other than buying right away the most expensive equipment, what would be something that someone or a mistake you've made that someone could now eliminate on their journey just because they heard this episode?
I mean, as I mentioned earlier with the shooting in JPEG in the beginning, that's obviously something that's I consider now a big no-no. I still see a lot of people who do that. And I think, maybe it has its own pros and cons, but other than that, maybe it's not a mistake that I've made because I'm so diligent when I'm preparing for a shoot, but just making sure that you have all your equipment and you have all your SD cards ready, everything is charged. It sounds really stupid and basic, but when you gather more and more equipment and you're kind of collecting over the years, you want to make sure that you have the best tools for whatever job you're going to do. And it's so easy to, I don't know, forget your card reader or, those kind of things that happen in a lot of jobs. So, yeah, really basic and boring.
But might save your shoot. Might save your like great. Now what's the most interesting project you worked on? You shared a little bit in our previous episode, but what's the most interesting? What's something that was like, what just happened? Well, what did I just shoot?
Oh, this another episode. I think one client that I've really enjoyed working with, just because it's quite a cool brand, is Porsche. So they have a regional office here, PCEE, and I have some contacts there, and they reached out to me to shoot 2 different things actually. And this year was a driving event. So we went to a track in, I can't remember where it was, but somewhere here in Czech. And that's just really cool because you get to see everyone racing around, and that's what I love to photograph, is just kind of the moments. And you get a lot of moments, and especially when there are a lot of people with really cool cars who work in the industry for cars and who enjoy cars. So it's a really, really cool combination to shoot something like that.
That's a lot of adrenaline on the spot.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out that they get to, they work with these cars all the time, but they never see the cars or sit in the cars and drive the cars in the track. So it's 2 really different things. It's kind of seeing your own projections or passions come to life. It's really cool. I love that. Love that.
All right, Harriet, to leave us off, what would be a advice that you would give to people looking to advance in your career? They're in the same industry, they're like where you were, they're getting some projects, but it doesn't feel like a full-time job yet. What would be a good advice?
Get uncomfortable and put yourself out there. So that it kind of encapsulates everything, actually. So that goes for going to networking events. Maybe not for you if you're a huge socialite, which I'm not. But yeah, put yourself out there in networking events and meet people, make a name for yourself. And then the second tier of that would be asking people, if you're not getting work, just asking people if you can go and shoot their stuff. So if it's a football game or if there's a bar that you really like, you can say, hey, I can come and take photos of your drinks on Friday night. Or if there's a pub quiz, like I can come and do this. Often your friends, maybe they work in companies, reach out to them and say, hey, do you have a Christmas party coming up? Or do you have a summer party coming up? Or can I come take photos in your office? Things like that, where it's doesn't always seem like the short term that it will work out, but look for the long term goal.
Very nice advice. We're getting so many wisdom nuggets today as well. That's amazing. Now, Harriet, because there is going to be people looking at it thinking, I need shrimp with camera on my events. I saw her stuff. She's really professional. She's amazing. She knows what she's doing. They're all going to get all of that in this episode for sure. But when they need a photographer, how can they contact you? Where can they find you? What is the right way to connect with you?
If that's what you think after watching this, happy, but what's the bottom of the year? So I have a website, shrimpwiththecamera.com, which definitely needs a renovation from somebody else in our BNI group. And I have an Instagram, Shrimp with Camera. So 2 fairly easy things to do.
Great. And I doubt you can find another shrimp with camera anytime soon in any social media. So that will be great. Amazing. Thank you, Harriet, so much for being with us today. And for everyone, in case you feel like I want to see what is up with the shrimp, who is it, and actually see her in action, you can come and visit us in our BNI meeting. We will pop the link down below so you can come and visit us in our First Diamond chapter meeting. And we will see you on the next episode.
See her in action. See the shrimp.
Boom.